Hey, this is Irma here from the Fitness Academy, and I have the pleasure and the joy to have my two high school teachers and employee. I used to work for Mr. Yoshizaki and Jim Scobie. But I'm going to start off with Mr. Jim Scobie. He was my accounting teacher in my senior year, and he had me in homeroom. So he saw me from 10th grade to senior year, and throughout the years, he's seen me develop. And we just came from lunch. It's just a real joy to see him. Now, Scobie has taught me a lot through high school. I was not the best student in high school. I actually ditched most of my senior year. I had senioritis, like most kids do. And Scobie always gave me great knowledge, good accounting experience. And I want to let you know who I was when I was in high school and how people evolved. And I should have paid attention to accounting, the debits and credits, like you said. I was ditching here in the West Side. But this is Jim Scobie. Please share the experiences that we had when I was in high school.
Well, Irma was just the way she is now in terms of her energy and talking. She didn't sit still a lot. She was always on the go, moving, in and out of the classroom a lot, had friends, and just moving just like this all the time. Yeah, I never saw her like just kicking back, relaxing. Yeah, anything. She just had maybe the most amount of energy of any person I ever had in class.
I couldn't stay still. He's correct. I couldn't stay still in class. I wanted to be outside. And I remember he told me, Irma, you really need to take this serious. You know, accounting and finance, this is money. You know, and I remember him telling me that. And now that I own my business, I can't tell you how important it is to listen to your teachers, especially accounting and finance. I'm doing my month-end close this weekend. Just really funny that you're around. But the one thing, I actually went back to high school. I went to Garfield High School the same year Oscar de la Hoya graduated. I did. And I got the time to come back. Being a student, now I went to become a teacher's assistant, and I had whole different goggles. And sometimes people don't get a second chance in life. I got a second chance to go back to the community and really help kids, but also pay attention to the stuff that I didn't pay attention to. And Jim Scobie was always there, like a teacher, not just a teacher, but always, when things went wrong, I'd ask him for his advice. And he had 3 daughters, and he'd always give me advice, and it helped. And I thank him now for all that information. And I always ask, like, how do you know people are good people? And I just asked him for this advice. He's like, you know what? He gave great advice to his children. They both raised wonderful children, single fathers, great teachers. And I feel like I'm part of that, Garfield generation. You guys praise good seeds. Good students do pay attention. So thanks for everything that you taught us. And
well, it's really good to see you here with your own business. I'm really proud of Irma right now. Yeah, really proud of you. Probably of all the times I met you after school, this is the most proud I am of her and her success right now.
Thank you. Oh, you made me cry. Now, no more tears, no tears. Now, with Yosh, I met Yosh. I graduated in 1991, and in 92 I was already a teacher's assistant, so I was only like 19. I never really left. So I got not only the privilege, but Yoshizaki was a very, I think he had 25 years of, how many total years of teaching did you have?
40 when I retired.
40 when you retired, but when I was around, it was about
25,
20 something, 25, I remember. And I was really amazed because he knew everybody's freaking name. He always had amazing energy. If anybody punked him, he would out-punk them, out-class them. He had the street smarts and the educational smarts, and I learned so much from this great teacher. He would come in business suits Monday through Friday with jeans. And I really looked at a Class A, how 6'1" are you?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of 6'1" Japanese men out there with this badass attitude, and I learned from the best. So what Yosh had, and I talked to him about, he had like a 90% attendance rate on high school, where I was ditching at the time. Some kids were going to school and showing up. I was part of that. I saw kids come in class, getting prepared to college, and they would show up to class. Can you please share, where did you get these ideas, play games, these quirky games, so kids to come to school? How did you get that idea?
I think I just had this, I've always wanted to be a teacher, but I've always had some bad teachers and a few good teachers.
Okay.
And so I always wanted to be that good teacher that students actually looked forward to seeing, like they dread going to that class. I thought you should really have 6 classes like that. You know, it should be all day. You should want to go to high school, not dread going each day and not dread going to 5th period or 6th period or whatever else. So that was just my goal, just to make my class funny enough that kids actually wanted to see me, wanted to go to the class, wanted to learn. And that's what it was all about, actually. Having people around like you that had a really good attitude. I mean, I don't really know how you were in school, but I've heard from some of your ex-teachers that you weren't that great.
No, I was not. I was not a
you
good
were-
student.
You were great.
I was all passionate. I talked a lot. I hardly ever did any work. I barely passed the skin of my teeth because I liked being outdoors. I liked ditching, and I was an adrenaline junkie. So what I learned going through being a teacher's assistant, I got a second chance to take it serious, to really learn and give back to kids. And first of all, I want to tell Yosh that when I worked for him, I wasn't at my best. It was my first job out of high school. I mean, just got out of high school. And when adversity hit, I think I was my first major breakup. I didn't know how to deal with adversity. And Yosh was not just forgiving. I was an awful employee. I would, for summer, I would check in and be like, hey, Yosh, can you clock me in? And I'd go to Magic Mountain, hang out, party, and come back. Like, I was adrenaline junk. I loved to live on the edge, and I still do. So, but the thing is that I look back, and if I could say that I am a person that likes to do things really well, and when I have an employee that don't do something, I reflect back and go, man, well, how old was I? Oh, shit. I didn't know how to deal with adversity, and I was not the best employee, but I did learn so much from you, and I just want to thank you, and I want to apologize for not being at my best while I was just trying to find myself. But he knew that he had children, and he took me like his daughter, and he always was there for me and gave me great advice. One of the best advice he gave me, because he was married for 25 years, and I just broke up with someone. And I think women, we've been tainted with, we have to have love in our lives. We have to have a boyfriend. We have to have something, the Cinderella drama. And I just never been alone. I always had a boyfriend. And I asked Yosh, you know, when you're brokenhearted, like, how did you deal with after your marriage, 25 years? How did you go back and start dating again? How did you do it, And great advice, little things he's told me. He said, well, Irma, when I wanted to go out again, we all want to fall in love. Everybody wants to fall in love, right? And I would tell myself, it's going to be this one. This is going to be the one. And this is going to be the one. After a while, it's kind of like you're shooting yourself at failure. And he's like, now, Yosh is confident. Every time I go out with him, he has a beautiful lady at the side. The Mac Daddy, Steve Yoshizaki, I loved it. Every time we went to the prom, just always had a new girl right all the time. And I love that about you. And the story about you having your Corvette before you had your children, then you got the van with your family, and then you got your Corvette again, right?
Yep.
And now you're both retiring, and I got to have lunch with my 2 favorite teachers. We just came from Benihana, and I could not stop smiling. I could not stop hugging. I love these guys like my fathers, and I just can't thank you guys enough for being there for me when I needed someone. I really appreciate it.
Well, we're happy you turned out well. And you shouldn't have told me that you were going to a place like Magic Mountain, because I always thought you were studying.
See, I'm awful, right?
Yes, I just thought I'd rather have her studying and get her degree. That would be great. So I'd just as soon her do that than helping me out at school.
Yeah, not always. I did actually have to go to school from time to time, but I was, bad seed from when it came down to that. But the stuff that I learned at Yosh's place, the biology, the dedication, their friendship. Like, I love that Yosh, they retired, that they hang out together. These guys are buddies. I saw them in school, and I will hope and pray that I get a friend the same way, the way you guys have. Like, it's, really good. I really appreciate that. I seen you guys, and I see you on Facebook now. I see what you're doing. You're fishing, you're hanging out, living the life. And if you're ever in this area, you guys always have a home to come to. Thanks, Yosh, for your everything. Appreciate it. Success. excited to have you both here at my facility. Ooh. This is Irma from the Academy saying, teachers are amazing. Never, ever, if you have a teacher, thank them for everything you've done. I can't understand that Garfield High School has some great teachers. Mr. Benson as well was a great teacher that just passed away. Government teacher that made me laugh. He was on the slight, funny pervert side, but get shit done. I loved it, and I learned from it, right?
Yeah, there are students that wouldn't learn with other teachers that would learn
With him.
Yeah.
Because he made it fun.
He was a real motivation person.
Peace.